Hello and welcome back. This is Tron at Tackleland, or as you may know me, El Patron at Homegrown. Just to bring you some of the most obscure and forgotten knowledge out there. Chords, voicing, and inversions. Yes, medieval stuff. And in the end, maybe we will make a cool progression. Okay, maybe not so cool, but let's get on with it anyways. Now, well, on a side note, I really haven't been able to put up more content, and I'm really sorry. Life gets in the way, but we are on this now. First of all, we're going to see what key and scale we want to work with. Here we got C, which is a major scale. If you don't know how to construct a scale in depth, check this video first. Now, this is a shortcut. If we start this from A, this is going to be A minor scale. So we have A minor here. If you move this scale up and down, you can see how the structure stays the same, but the root note changes. You can transpose your scale this way. This scale is a D sharp. Now that we know the scale, starting from the root note, if I play one of every other note, we got 1, 3, and 5. This is our first degree of our scale, and it's a minor chord. Wait, let me explain this a bit better. This is the natural minor scale. To make the first chord of our scale, we need 1, 3, and 5. This chord is minor because the first interval is a minor third interval, which means it's 3 semitones interval. If we had a major scale, the difference is this and this. It would be a major chord because this first to third interval is a major third interval, which means 4 semitones interval. But because this is a natural minor scale, the fifth and first stay the same, but the third will change the chord to minor or major. Okay, those are our two most used chords ever, major and minor. The second degree of our natural minor scale, or the seventh of any major scale, is a diminished chord. The difference here is instead of having a minor and a major on the triad, we have 2 minors, or a 3 semitone interval between each note of the chord. Here we got F diminished. Now, the third degree of the natural minor scale is a major chord. In this case, F sharp major. If I wanted to use a major seventh instead of a minor seventh, this would turn from major to an augmented chord, or a 4 semitone interval between each note on the chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, major. 1, 2, 3, 4, another major. This is F sharp augmented, and it has a much different feel to it. Much more tension than a major. These are all the basic chords. Now let's see suspended chords. We have two kinds of suspended chords. Suspended second and suspended fourth. The first interval, instead of being a third, it will go to either the second or the fourth degree. Okay, I'll make a little progression and explain a bit voicing. Let's start with the first degree of our scale, D sharp minor, 1, 3, 5. So maybe we want to make something that goes like this. So this would be the third. So 3, 5, 7. Second and seventh degree. You see, I did something funny on the third chord of the progression. Okay, now the seventh. I made a first inversion of this chord. So what I have done there is to get the voicing a bit better. This is the first inversion of this chord. Instead of going up and then up and then up everything, the second inversion would be this. It is the same chords, but gives a total different feeling to it. So what I'm trying to explain is you don't have to play the chord like 1, 3, 5 or 2, 4, 6 always. And this is called inversions and helps with voicing. Normally, it would be 1, 3, 5. If you're playing the first inversion, you move that 1 to the top of the chord. So you would play 3, 5, 1. The second inversion, you would move the first and the third to the top of the chord. So you would play 5, 1, 3. If you're doing this with different synths, you want one voice to go up and one to go down, or at least some of the chord remains constant. And then it will feel a bit more natural. It is called voicing because it comes from orchestration and the voices of the orchestra. Now let's start from the first degree of our scale, G sharp minor or E flat minor. And I wanted to get into this, which is why I started on this tonality, Enharmonics and Alterations. If you're using this black note as D sharp, then all your alterations will be sharp. If you're using it as E flat, then all your alterations will be flat. So on flats, this would be E flat, this would be G flat, and this would be B flat. But we are doing D sharp now. So this is D sharp, this is F sharp, and A sharp. And harmonics are for music what synonyms are for language. With synonyms, you have words that sound different but mean the same. These sound the same, but they are called different. A basic chord structure would be 1, 3, 5, and 7th. This is a 7th chord. You can keep adding stuff on top of the chord. The next note to add would be a second on the top octave. This is going to be called a 9th. You know, because octave and then the next one would be 9. So this is called a tension. Tensions are extra notes that are not a basic part of the chord. tensions would be 9th, 11th, and 13th. This is the 9th and this the 11th here. So like this, we can go to town and start mixing some tensions. Well, that is that. To make chords is as simple as that. And I hope you understand the concept of voicing and inversions and moving the chord around. I hope this was useful and informative, and at least a little bit clear. Join Patreon for all related to this channel. And get on Twitch, my handle is Ronald McDonald. Every Friday I'll be doing Killer or Filler, the podcast, where you can check in real time how your music sounds here in the studio. And me and our guests in the podcast will tell you if you got a killer or a filler in your hands. Remember, Ronald McDonald on Twitch. Thanks so much to all my patrons. I really could not be doing this without you. I know I've been pretty bad lately with video releases. Life has gotten a bit in the way lately and workload in the studio is pretty massive. But thanks a lot for your patience. Anyways, as always, thank you for watching and see you next time.